Hello, 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 everybody. Again, you know, Crapcast is really ticking me off. This thing's dropping repeatedly. I pay them a bunch of money every month and can't even keep my internet up. Pretty pathetic there. Pretty gosh darn pathetic. I wish there was more competition now on the backup feed. So, always advisable, even if you're not on YouTube, to have a backup feed if you're an active trader, or at least be prepared with your cell phone. I actually still prefer a backup feed, so I'm just adjusting some stuff because that way I can still use my cell phone easily if there's other things going on. Where I did cut out. So, they're testing the voting machine connections again. That's pretty funny, George. I should sue them. Well, how far do you think I'll get with that, Coco? Comcast sucks, so does Charter, both death spiral financing companies too. What's the problem with giving cable companies monopolies in areas? There's literally no other thing I can go to. Well, I guess I could go to AT&T. What's that called? I forgot. I just blanked out on the It's not the dial-up anymore. It's the what's the other thing you can do still over the telephone lines? But literally, it's not fast enough for me to stream over. So the only choice I have besides my backup, which is 5G through T-Mobile, I only have Comcast. There's literally no other option for me, which sucks. I can't do satellite either, and if somebody suggests Starlink, I'm booting you. So, I'm just going to leave it as that. All right, sorry about that before. I don't know exactly where I was. I could go for. Verizon is not in this area for at least any of their wired stuff. I could go for Verizon on their 5G internet, but there's no Verizon option here. It doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. All right. My key levels, let's just review. S&P 38, well, you could go with this range, 37.94 to 38.09. I'm more focused on, if we break down tonight, 38.09. I remember. Clear path on the daily, but this is where it's important to go to a 4 hour. 4 hour. Multiple stopping points. So yes, technically a clear path, but you have to dissect it down into, and my overall bigger pullback level, should it take a crap, is around 37.65. There we go. Short and sweet. Trailing stop below today's lows for the most recent lows. No, this is not a major topping pattern just yet. We could easily pull back to this neckline area. What happened to my... Is it just going to be one of those days? One of those days. Boy, I must have hit a wrong key here. All right. We could easily pull back to the neckline, and I will put the fail-safe trend line up here. We have lots of things for people to learn. So, again, the key major support is 37.54 to 37.64 area. Nasdaq, I remember Rich asking, already had it on the chart. The Nasdaq double top triggered. I'm watching for the trigger on the 4 hour. It's confirmed it's not triggered on the 1 hour or the 4 hour. Right against the 4 hour rotation zone. So next move through here, that should trigger it. You need a close below 11,433. Okay? So there's your topping pattern. Does that mean new lows? No. Your full target is about, here's the 50% of this up move too. 11,109. The full target is 11,138 area, so in front of even the 50. So this would be a pullback. Where would that put it on the daily? It would be in the vicinity, especially the second target, which is about 11,208, is right at the fail-safe trend line and the kiss the neckline goodbye. And as always, key level I'm watching for, which is the same virtually as Friday's low on a closing basis, is 10,953.25. A close below there, then I will shift to more aggressive bear mode. Until then, it's short-term pullback mode if this triggers. That would be short-term pullback mode. Go over to targets again. The first target, interesting enough, is this 11,320 area, 318,320, rising 4 hour 50 EMA, and prior, this is levels already been on the chart before, has some minor significance. Then the next target lines up with significance. I didn't just have these randomly put these lines here, and it's the second target on the double, 11,208, 11,206, and then the final target. That's what we have there. And right below that, do not lose sight of that 50. And here's a fail-safe trend line. So yeah, a ton of support down in here. Also on the daily, you have this little mini clear path. But if we're looking at it, there's a lot of stopping points in here. Just like we broke out today, we retraced. We ran up into this little clear path area, then reversed back down. Now to the upside, I did not do the upside, which sorry about that. But for the upside, if, remember, stranger things can happen. 3861 in the S&P. Why am I focused on that level to the upside? Because we can always pull back and bounce again. We still haven't completed, besides the Dow completing the pattern, we still have patterns in the S&P and Nasdaq. Above here, I'm watching into this clear path move. Okay, that's where the key, and then we'll see where this looks like tomorrow morning, but you realize back on this retracement area, my first target areas above here would be stop reduction 38.67, first target 38.74.50, close above that, then continuing to trail higher. If this makes a pullback lower low overnight, then I'm going to revise those levels down. On the Nasdaq, the technical area is right around here. However, the key area I'm watching for is up more around 11,560 for anything bullish mode. So we got the bullish and bearish patterns. Now, if we get that 4 hour close, because that 4 hour close would be below the rotation zone on the 4 hour, then that's where I start watching for those, targeting these pullback levels. But do not ignore this first level with the rising 50. Dow, as we covered this morning, completed the double bottom pattern. I said I had 32,142 as a key level, spiking up just above that, not just hitting at 87.5 just yet, and not a close above that level. No close. What is that level, you might be wondering? What was that level? That level is the 62.5 from the highs on the 16th of August to the lows on the 3rd of October. Why is that important? Because a close above there should see some continuation in higher prices. We did not get it today. Trailing stop below today's low on the Dow with cycles at the top. The key support area now for the Dow. You can run your other harmonics. I'm watching for key major support of 31,166 if we get either a big daily pullback or a multi-day pullback is my first area. Minor support coming in. Minor support. 31,587 to 31,600. No double top pattern in, as you can see, in the Dow. So, George did not like this candle today. Rich's target, 11,200. I'm sure you mean in the Nasdaq. I don't think that's your S&P target, Rich, is it? That'd be pretty bullish, wouldn't it? Oh well, hey, Rich, we're in agreement. We're in agreement in somewhat some agreements. That's the second target on the double to kiss the head and shoulders neckline goodbye, or inverse head and shoulders neckline goodbye. So we could have some agreement there with Rich. Christoph, sorry you got booted out before. I saw you pop in there. Mike, so counter trend wave A could be over. What would be the target for wave C? And how low is wave B allowed to go before the whole count is negated? I have not done my Elliott wave analysis yet. But right now, you don't. If you get I can tell you just from this other standpoint, if we got a pullback on a closing basis below the 62.5, it would really screw up the Elliott wave counts, and this would be a very interesting. There would already be a potential correction then of a little mini ABC correction up here. But the ordinary pullback would be 37.5 to the 50 area right in here with that double. So it's virtually the same target areas. Now, where could C after a pullback to B go? We have to see where the B pullback comes to. So I can't do that projection yet. We have to see where the pullback comes to. But it will be interesting. So remind me, I'll put that out there. All right. You guys are really wonderful. NDX loaded, cocked, locked, and ready to rock. Trading account Glock Doc. I'm either going to be a hero or a zero from now through the first. Well, I hope you're not a zero. Remember, I can't stress this enough. Everyone trade with proper risk management. There is no hero or zero. I don't need people coming in here to say I bet it all in one trade and it either wiped me out or I was the king of that trade, because from my perspective, that's just silly. I'd rather have you applying your key levels with proper risk management, because the best traders and investors manage risk first, and they're not trying to make a single call, and I'm not picking on anybody. They're doing their analysis and taking their wins and losses as they come, and as you get better, your wins will be much bigger than your losses, and your probability should keep going up. So I'd rather have people coming in here saying, I know it's not as fun, but I just would rather, I would like to see somebody come in here. I'm implying proper money management discipline and only on this pullback trade risking 2% of my account. I dare somebody and actually do that. I'm just a fuddy-duddy then. If you guys want to gamble at all, go right ahead, but I do not advise that at all. Do not advise that. I don't need a hero or a zero. I'm holding out for a hero at the end of the. What is that song? What's that song from the 70s? Let's jump to meta real quick. Let's do some meta analysis. Remember, confirmed but not triggered double yesterday, and that's why you wait for the trigger confirmation, but no trigger. And what do we get? I put up the next harmonics 114.87, and then the next area that's been on the chart for a while 109.47 to 107.20 is the next key area. I will not be surprised to see this tackle par A/100 before this whole thing is said and done. There's P-Dub's disclaimer within reward to risk parameters. It's all still gravy. You're playing with the house's money. No, we're not gonna. Yeah, we're just singing. 2%, I get it. Well, it depends on your reward to risk ratio. Small gains over time compound quickly. And this is a challenging market. You can go 5%. I would not be going 20%. I'd rather people get really good and then ramp up risk instead of ramping up risk and hoping for the big winners and then getting their butt handed to them, which can happen, especially in challenging market conditions. Okay, and I will also say this not necessarily for the people on the chat, but people who watch this later. I'm not one of those channels that's gonna preach swinging for the fences with every move, and you're gonna crush every move. That's not the way. It's not the way to stay, especially as a short-term trader. You don't need to crush every move. Consistency is way better. I want to peek at Ford. Ford. So it was a top and bottom line beat, but they've pulled back a bit. Sitting looks at some key support. Looking at key support also, a bunch of my lines have disappeared. That's weird. Ford did trigger the double, still in play here, bouncing, come back down off the 50. So it'll be interesting to see once this rally resumes if Ford can get some traction to the upside. Teledoc, because I did not mention this yesterday. There's just too much stuff to cover. My live streams would be way too long. But yesterday, Teledoc hit the double bottom pattern and confirmed. Hit the first stop reduction level today. Let me take these off. I just want to cover some stuff, especially I know there's people who like to play this stuff. 28.12 stop reduction hit today. Really nice going into earnings, at least with the stop reduction. And then the 29.80 is the full target. Well, I know we're at 29.50 now. Did it trade up there? Because this is, if you get an after-hour spike with earnings that take out all your double targets, I always just take it if you trade after hours, by the way. Just take it. Don't do your analysis on extended hours trading. Yeah. This already hit the targets. I'll still keep it on there just for regular hours. But that, just wanted to point out, you don't know. You don't know. But double completed. How do you like to? Well, remember the 50 EMA is not, that does not, let me get back to Ford. The 50 EMA is a potential pause point, and it's used for target. It does not lower the probabilities. And now watch with the first cross rotation zone. This could easily pull back to this area. We could easily get even a bigger pullback. Next key area would be 1221, but the probabilities are in play. The 50 does not change the probabilities. That it slightly changes them, but not enough that you're going to pass on trades. Not enough that you're going to pass. I should have said it changes them ever so slightly, but not enough to crush the trade. Else I would just say, hey, if it'd be a rule, if the 50's in the way, pass on the trade. Yes, it is a fundamental. I completely agree. It's a fundamental. From a fundamental standpoint, it's atrocious. I've talked before. Teledoc. What were their numbers? Were they posted up there? I was too focused on the double. But again, you can have technical trades. What were their? No, does anybody have them? Just looking. All right, let me get back through some stuff. Russell. Oh. Still. Russell key pullback levels. First level's about 1795. And you can buy it now, only $17.95. Actually, a little in front of there, about 1800. And then major pullback level 1780. At least that's what I'm watching for on my first key levels. Buy now, $17.95. Buy one technical analysis, get it free. DAX. Just in front of the harmonic level and the second target with a little pausing area. We don't have, I'm just ratcheting these up. This is not technically a pausing bar just yet. Key support right now that I'm watching for in the DAX. First is about 12,964, then about 12,888. That's sort of funny, even though this isn't a pausing bar. To next. And this is the lowest probability target, remember, and we have a harmonic up there. But this would be also a great area with the DAX completely overbought for, if you've been in this run for a while now, would be trailing a daily stop on a closing basis below today's low. Or if it's a hard break, look for the bigger pullback and be out of shorter term positions. Notes. Just barely in front of this other end of the rotation zone, which was the next target area. Don't have anything major yet. We got minor pausing bars. That potential double top that never confirmed or triggered is off the table now. So I don't have a strong pausing or retracement pattern just yet, other than some waning momentum. Waning momentum again, and we're into a very key distribution area from before. And we're also getting up close to what I'm more so than these harmonics. I'm really watching this 111.12 and a half area to about 111.16 and a half. Dollar index getting a smackdown today. I'm going to still watch to see if this triggers on the weekly. But this back-to-back potential week pullbacks, which we haven't seen since July, end of July, beginning of August. So definitely a shift with this stronger pullback, biggest pullback in a while for the dollar. We'll have to see how this week closes out, though, based off some still key numbers coming out. So for shorter term, any rally now, 110 is resistance. 110 is resistance. So on any bounce up, got to see how it reacts at 110. VIX, which technically triggered the double yesterday, continued on its move down. 2850 is now resistance. And then your next level, should it blow through there, is roughly 29.09 with the declining daily rotation zone. But 28.50, that's what I'm watching. If we start the pullbacks, I'm really keying off of 28.50 to see how it reacts there. But probabilities favor in the VIX now still continued rally after a pullback. Crude double is triggered. 89.40, 90.52, 91.65. Key support now coming back in at 86.50. What else do we want to look at? We already did the dollar index. Euro closing in on that 101 area. Euro on the daily basis triggered the double. It's a little messier, but the targets are 101.83, 102.70, 102.75. Those would be the two major targets I'd be focusing on. Pound stopping at the harmonic on the key support now is 115.20, and next target higher is 117.80 to 118.20. And that's going to be a very key target area for the pound. Remember, and it'll be interesting to see, we got the overhead weekly rotation zone right overhead also. This also slamming into that significant, that's nearly a significant level. Bitcoin you're going to want to watch for key support coming in at 25 for it to hold. Nothing else there. Where else do we sit? You can Momo trade a poo, but why? Well, if there's probabilities, I don't have a problem. I just wouldn't be a long-term owner of any of this crap. You can Momo trade anything. It's a little tougher in this market. I don't mind. I just wouldn't hold it very long. These are not for holding. These things are not for holding. If they are fundamentally, as you said it, poo. Rich thinks earnings will not affect the market. Dollar's oversold, but it broke some key support. We'll see what PCE comes in on Friday. Roblox, speaking of poo. Still has not been able to get that close above the 62.5. I'd be watching what this is overbought. Significant topping pattern that tried to stay above and did not get the close above the 62.5. I'd be watching for your pullback now to 43.60 with the rising rotation zone. By the way, this is another one that can be traded. Is it something I want to own long term? Not with anybody else's money. You could, if this was given to me as free stock, I'd be selling it at the first technical great pattern. Is it tradable? Yeah. Is it holdable? No. They're two very different things. That is true. Euro is back for the time being. Yeah, it could be a takeover target, but somebody wants to flush their money away. It would be a takeover target at a lot lower price. Actual value of Roblox is like 9. Well, there you go. And look at where the next harmonic is. 9 969. Do I think we'll see it? Yes. So there's a difference between a trade and something I want to own long term. This is not something I want to own long term, especially at these areas. What else? All right, let's just, since we got, then I'm going to wrap it up again. Apple still does not have a great pattern. Apple was pretty, this was sort of bearish price action today in Apple, but there's no great pattern going into earnings. There is no fantastic pattern. Support 146.40. Resistance 155, 155.25. If it does do something stronger, I would not be surprised to see a pop and a run to the 200. Other than that, and that would not be a buy. This is the rollover zone. But there's just no great pattern sitting in Apple going into earnings. Amazon. I mean, this pattern's neat. I mean, it was only the first two targets there, so that pattern's over. I just wanted to double check with that. That pattern's over. Yes, that did qualify as a double. But I mean, you can still watch this final pattern, which is the 200. Not expecting Amazon to go there, but it's technically not invalidated yet. But that would be the target area on anything bullish. This pattern's essentially over from my perspective because you had to use the first and second targets. Why not the third one? Because this is the move that created the pattern. This is the move. This third target is easily above the wicks and candle bodies. So it's the first two targets if you're trying to trade that. So going into why is that one? Did I not? I didn't even punch that's why that double wasn't there. I was like, why does that chart not look correct? Because I'd only punched an AMZ instead of AMZN. I'm like, where did my double go? So again, there you go. First and second targets on this, the third target, this is virtually over, but you can keep an eye on that third target for earnings tomorrow if you're trying to do something from the bullish side. I don't know why there's no great target anymore. And when there's no great target, I hate going into earnings, at least in a tactical environment, with earnings rolling over with no pattern. The key level you should be watching, though, for the downside is 111.34. 111.34 is your key level tomorrow. All right. With that, I'm not seeing anything else. Tesla, does it? No reaction with that Department of Justice probe, huh? Tesla coming up. Finishing into the daily rotation zone, backing back off, confirming the double, but not triggering it. Hitting that right in front of this other harmonic. There was a little double top pattern here, by the way. So when you get this close to a harmonic, we were in the zone confirming the double harmonic, and you get a double top pattern, you know, that's where you take some profits. When it's that close to a harmonic. So you got, if you're hoping for anything more in Tesla, you got to be hoping that that double triggers. Other than that, in case something actually comes of that DOJ thing, your key area is 210.59 on any pullback. With cycle, not overbought, but cycles at the top ready to drop. So 210.59 is the key level to the downside. Can I look at NIO? Well, I'd say if you get a nice break or at least a daily close above 111.15 area, maybe 111.20, go with 111.20. It would be a short-term bullish play. You have a gap left behind. You have a key breakdown level in your 25% harmonic at 112.39, so that would be a short-term play back into the daily rotation zone after softening the underside with the first reaction at the bottom of the rotation zone. So that's the bullish play. That's your bullish play. And there's no great reversal signal just yet. Although if you start breaking that back below about 1042, I'd watch for the pullback to probably about 973. Can I pick on DXY? Well, I already went through DXY. The dollar index, your key resistance is 110. Other than that, I'm watching to see if this triggers on the weekly basis. This double topping pattern is technically triggered on the daily. Next key target is 107.47, but I'm watching to see how this reacts at this to retest this key support becoming resistance. Going in with the PCE numbers on Friday. That's going to be very telling because this is why am I waiting for the weekly? Because it's going against the weekly rotation zone, and this is a significant area for the dollar index. Yeah, you might get a bounce on the 4 hour. That's why I'm watching for. You got the cycles at the bottom, oversold, your 4 hour rotation zone, roughly 110. Watch for a bounce. Then can I check on M and Netflix? This would be for if you were long M, then you've just tagged the 200. From my perspective, this would be a fantastic area to raise a stop with it just below today's low, because you could easily get a pullback. It depends on your time frame, but my first pullback area would be about 1975, and then on the bigger pullback, I'd be about 19. Let's just make sure there's no great topping pattern. Yeah, it could be forming a little mini head and shoulder rollover pattern, but then I'd just be using those levels as the pullback. But based off this price action, overbought on the 4 hour, cycles at the top, overbought on the daily, cycles at the top. After hitting the 200, after testing this prior high area from August, this would be either lightening up or trailing out relatively quickly, watching to see the pullback levels. Netflix. Nothing else. Your key Support level is roughly about 290, 290.25, 290. This would be also a trail below today's low. And then below 290, your key major area would be the daily rotation zone because it's already broken through that 200. So that would be my next target. If did we get a multi-day pullback starting in the markets like the Nasdaq, you could see a return. So this rotation zone is going to keep rising on the daily, but I'd watch for a reconnection with the daily rotation zone. 270, I'm just checking because there's no key topping pattern yet to use on Netflix. So it will be a trail out from any bullish plays at this level to what, 270. I'm just yeah, so 290 with the rising 4-hour. Then if it dropped below there, I'd be more focusing on this 280. Let's just double check that. 280 coming in with the rising daily with a possible spike to 275 would be my short-term stuff. Cycles at the top, overbought. So I'd definitely be watching for a pullback. That's why trailing stop, trailing out of anything from this run-up would be a good tactical play from my perspective. All right, that wraps it up for now. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for all the participation. I will be back tomorrow. Remember, don't get caught off guard. You are welcome, Balaji. Don't get caught off guard with any key earnings tomorrow morning, like MasterCard, Shopify, But McDonald's will be interesting. But more important than that, and I always like to recap just to make sure, even for my own double checking, durable goods, advanced GDP coming out at 7:30, and jobless claims. So 1 hour before the open. With that, I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.